Hi, my name is Angela Cox, and this course is 8th grade Family and Consumer Science. I'm so sorry that I couldn't join you today. However, if you have any questions or concerns about Family and Consumer Science or anything else that I can help you with, don't hesitate to reach out. In 8th grade Family and Consumer Science, this is a class that is meant to prepare your child for the day when he or she is on his own and no longer living with you, eating your food and spending your money. At this point in the 8th grade, it is truly meant to prepare students for living on their own. In that, we have 4 units that we will basically be looking at. So the first one, which we've already begun, is financial basics. Our first unit, which we've already finished, is Does Money Grow on Trees? In that unit, we talk about careers and jobs and how all of the things, all of your experiences are ways that students can build up their human capital and eventually earn more job opportunities and more money. In our next unit called Planet Paycheck, it's all about reading a paycheck. As you all know, when you get paid, there are lots and lots of forms and taxes and things that get filled out and that you need to learn about, and that's what this unit is all about. So if you get a chance to show your child maybe an old pay stub or maybe your W-2 that you got from last year or that someone got, to really give them an idea of what payroll taxes are and just how much they cost, that would be fantastic. Our next unit is called The Secret of Savings. In our class in the 8th grade, we will focus on 3 savings tools, savings accounts, certificates of deposits, and money market accounts. We won't get into the stock market or into bonds or anything that's not FDIC insured. So basically, we're going to be talking about introductory, really safe ways to save, to get their money insured and in a safe place for them for an emergency later. And finally, we're going to be talking about electronic banking. Specifically, we'll be talking about checking accounts and using online banking tools because in reality, most banking today happens online. Finally, we'll move over to child development. In the 8th grade, we're really kind of focused on babysitting and understanding maybe younger brothers, sisters, cousins, any young children that they may be interacting with, and the costs associated with young children. So we'll talk about ages and stages, infant, toddler, preschool, school age. We do a project called the Sugar Baby, where your students will be bringing home a little baby made out of sugar, and they'll have to go shopping for their baby, and they have to keep track of their baby all the time for 3 days. So your help with that project would be greatly appreciated. We'll also talk about toys and choosing safe and appropriate toys for young children and enriching and teaching children, being able to interact with a child on their level without getting frustrated. Finally, we're going to move over to machine sewing. In the 7th grade, we do hand sewing. If your child was lucky enough to be in person last year. But in the 8th grade, we do machine sewing. We cut a pattern and we construct the garment, and we'll talk about hemming and finishing. This year in Family and Consumer Science, we are going to make a mask. If your child really loves sewing, sometimes they might make more than one mask. So might as well make something that they can use every single day. And then finally, we'll talk about foods and nutrition. We'll do a quick review of kitchen safety and sanitation because we don't want anyone to get hurt and we don't want anyone to make anyone sick with the food they make. We'll talk a lot about measuring and nutrition, and they'll get lots of practice at that. We'll talk about recipe conversions, converting for smaller or larger amounts. We'll talk about nutrients and what it really means to eat healthy and why things are considered healthy or not healthy. We'll talk about food labeling because you can't really talk about nutrition without talking about food labeling and how to tell what's in a food. And then finally, we do a unit on diabetes, food allergies, and food intolerances because most students at some point in their life will interact with someone who has a food-related illness. And we'll learn about those in 8th grade Family and Consumer Science. If you have any questions at all about what we cover in 8th grade, don't hesitate to reach out. Now, in 8th grade, we have some materials that you may want to provide for your child. If your child doesn't have the materials, they will be provided. So they will need a paper and pencil every day that they need. They also can choose to provide fabric for their mask. Some students are really particular about the types of masks they want to wear. If your child really, really, really wants a, I don't know, a Ohio State mask, then they need to buy Ohio State fabric and Ohio State and red or gray thread and maybe some ribbon to match. If your child doesn't care what kind of mask they make, I have some materials that they are welcome to use. We're also going to do our sugar baby. And if you wouldn't mind helping out bringing in a 4 to 5 pound bag of sugar, that would certainly be helpful. You want to make sure you tape it up really, really well. And when we do that in class, I'll show the kids how to do it. To make the sugar babies, we need pantyhose, real pantyhose, like with the underwear in them, because we turn them into sugar babies. Again, if your child doesn't have them, then don't worry, I'll give them some. But if you have them at home, if you don't mind helping out, that would be fantastic. They also need a 0 to 3 month baby outfit. I have some that your children are welcome to use, but I need them back. They belong to the school. So if when we do the project, sometimes the students really want to keep their babies, but if you borrow clothes from the school, I need the clothes back. And then every single day, your child will need their school issued computer. If your child doesn't have his or her school issued computer, they cannot participate fully in learning activities. And again, right, the school issued computer, we give that through the school, but the child needs to make sure, your child needs to make sure that he or she brings it every single day, right? So the other things I can help them with, right? We have fabric, we have thread, we even have bags of sugar, right? But if they don't have that laptop, then they're going to be missing out. Another big question that I get is about checking grades, right? Um, you can check your child's grades at any time in Hack. If you see an X in Hack, it means that your child was excused from that assignment. Maybe they were absent, or maybe they were working on something else during that time. But if you see an X, it doesn't mean they didn't do it, it means they were excused. If you see a 0 in Hack though, that means that that assignment is missing and they need to make that up. So any zeros that you ever see in the grade book, you know that that is a missing assignment. If it's blank, I haven't put the grade in. Don't yell at your student. If there's an assignment in there and there's no grade, that's my fault. And 50% is the minimum score on an assignment. So if you see 0 in there, eventually that 0 is going to turn into a 50%. And once it does, they can't make it up anymore. Finally, if you need to contact me for any reason, don't hesitate to reach out. The easiest way is through email. Check my email several times a day. If you don't have time to write or you want to have a conversation, just send me an email and say, hey, can you give me a call? Here's my phone number, and I will give you a call back as soon as I possibly can. If that doesn't work, if you're driving down the road or something, feel free to call the school at 410-535-7877 and leave a message. My name is Angela Cox. They will give it to me and I'll call you back as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions or concerns, please reach out. And thank you so much for sending me your most precious children to teach. They truly are a pleasure. And I'm going to miss them so much when they move on to high school. Have a great day.